لكن تحديت الظروف وخضتها وحدي صبورا مستعينا بالصلاة. كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي، كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أساه محن تمر، وكم كرهت مصابها.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. ما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Hay fever has completely ruined me the past 2-3 days, and these sunglasses are a testimony of the damage that it's done, hence why I'm covering my eyes. I've rubbed my eyes immensely. It's like I've gone 12 rounds with Tyson Fury, or if not Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. Absolutely, my eyes are bulging out. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala awalan that He aids our Palestinians brothers and sisters who are suffering at the hands of the Zionist regime. They have now made an announcement to attack Rafah, and this is going to be catastrophic. And I ask all our brothers and sisters to raise their hands in dua, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to alleviate their suffering and to send them a help. Allahumma ameen. This video is going to shock many, and it goes back to the ongoing discussion regarding the charity sector. It's a for-profit business, and at the end of the day, look, we're not living under a khilafah or a sultanate or an imara where all of the zakat processes are conducted by the state or centralized via the government. So what's happened is, living in the capitalistic society that we do, the westernized capitalist model, socialist model on top of that, everyone's opening up charities and it's all about margins, profit. I have been sent information, documentation of the agreements between Human Appeal and their partner charities. And it all boils down to what is proportionate. I'm not copying Piers Morgan here. What is proportionate in terms of a Jam'iyya Khairiyya or a charitable organization, which is a Muslim charity? Yes, they have running costs. Yes, they have to pay salaries, etc., etc. But what is reasonable? As I mentioned or clarified in my previous video, there's two extremes. One extreme is where they pay the imams absolute peanuts, pennies, whilst they themselves have millions in the bank account and are enjoying the luxury life. Then on the other extreme, you find those who are opening up charities and their bank balances are in the tens of millions, and they are making margins on orphans, water wells, food packs, and whatnot. Now, Human Appeal have business partners that they operate with or work with. So, for example, they have business partners in Africa, they have business partners in Pakistan, they have business partners in Afghanistan, India, Bangladesh, and whatnot. Water wells are very popular for charities because the Muslims are aware of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when Sa'd ibn Ubadah, I think it's Sa'd ibn Ubadah, when he approached the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said, Sa'd matat, that the mother of Sa'd, meaning his mother, has passed away, for which charity is the best? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, water. And he dug a well and he said that هذه لأم سعد, this is for Sa'd, أو كما قال. So the Muslims are aware of the ongoing charity or the continuous charity, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, or كما قال, that when a servant dies, all of his deeds come to an end, apart from three, and one of the three is the sadaqah jariyah, and amongst others, the ilm, which has been left behind. Now, Human Appeal have a funding agreement that they have with their business partners. And I will show you the margins that they make. And the margins are so ridiculous. This is why they're able to pay their CEOs 80, 90,000 pound a year, or 100,000 pound a year, because that's where the discrepancy is, or that's where the argument is. Like, if a CEO was running a company, he'll be, paid that amount. But I tell you, I will clarify how they're able to do that. It's because gift aid alone doesn't cut it. Like I said before, gift aid, do what you want with it. Morally, put it back into charity, put it back into projects, because that's government money. They've given it to you. So the moral thing to do and the honourable thing to do is put it back into the charity. But if you want to buy yourself a nice property in the high-end areas, or a Tesla, or a Merc, or whatever it may be, knock yourself out. That's not my concern. But when it comes to the Ummah's wealth, you are profiting. It's a profiteering business. So as you can see on screen, we've got a funding agreement. A funding agreement from Human Appeal. And this funding agreement shows, and I can't obviously disclose which charity it is, and it mentions Human Appeal is an international UK-based humanitarian relief and development organisation working in many countries worldwide, with its head office located at 1 Cheadle Point, Cars Road, Cheadle. I think it's up north somewhere in Manchester. And it mentions, as you can see, the amount that they paid for 80 plus wells. 80 plus wells. And I'll show you the margin that they make. SubhanAllah Azeem. And this is the capitalistic model, right? So, they paid this said charity for 81 water wells in a said country, right? In a said country. And I don't want to go into which country it is, because you'll figure it out later on. So they paid £52,650. Okay. If you divide that by 81 wells, that will give you £650 per well. £650 per well. Now, if you go to their website, initially, before I put it up, they were charging £860, right? £860. So as you can see on screen, the single donation is £1,100. £1,100. It was £860, now it's gone to £1,100. So if we do the math, so that's a profit of £450 for every well. In percentage, that would be 40% profit. So £450 for every well. If we times that by 81 wells, they've made from one project £36,450 profit. I'll say that again. They've made £36,450 profit, right? So 1,100 times that by 81, that's £89,100. They paid how much? 52,000, sorry, 650. I'm lying to you. 52,560. What is proportionate? That's the question, right? What is proportionate? These capitalistic charities run their business as a profiteering business, whilst adding Islamic flavor and Islamic touch to their appeal. Oh, it's a Muslim charity. Oh yeah, Human Appeal. You know what I mean? Call Habib. You know, now this is where the marketing is, isn't it? Call a celebrity. People will donate, pay him X amount. Is this coming from the charity money? Is this coming from the zakat money? Where's it coming from? But we know where it's coming from, because you're making crazy, crazy margins out of water wells. So £650 is what they're paying their business partners. And that's a total of £52,650. They are making £450 profit for every well, because they are charging us, the donors, 1,100. 1,100. It was 860, but it's gone up. Inflation's gone up. So that was £210 profit, okay, and they were profiting 17,000. Now they're profiting 36,450. What is proportionate? This is disproportionate. The amount of money that they are making and profiting out of water wells, right? And they add the Islamic hadith, as I mentioned earlier. This is unacceptable. Now, what is proportionate for a capitalistic charity? It's about a capitalistic society. A capitalistic charity. What is proportionate now? Because you have to accept that it's a for-profit business. It is a for-profit business. These charities are for-profit, right? They have to pay wages. They have to pay salaries. Now, the zakat money cannot be touched. I hope they don't touch it. It can't be touched because you're not entitled to it. We'll respond to one of your fundraising managers when he's trying to use the verse from an old video, coming from the classical scholars to show him. Not so fast, mate. But let's ask the hard-hitting questions. Why are you profiting with such huge margins in the name of zakat, in the name of sadaqah, in the name of ma or bir, wells, and using hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then you're making how much? £450 for every well. Is that proportional? Got to pay your CEO something, right? CEO on top has to get paid. Your staff members have to get paid. So do you have an admin pot for your salaries? Gift aid. Does that cut it? I don't know. So I let the viewers decide whether this is proportionate or not. Because I can assure you, sitting here, I've donated to Human Appeal before, don't get me wrong. Not because you called Khabib, where one was boasting about that. No, this is unacceptable. And that £450, yes, if you want to make a profit living in this Western capitalistic socialist society, make a profit. £450? It's a bit steep. But on top of that, let's go into their annual statements to show you that Human Appeal ain't the most clean charity. There are charities that are cleaner than others, I'm sure. As I said before, transparency isn't really there, so I can't really say which one. But I say give to the UN. I hate to say it, they're on the ground. They're the ones that supply the tents to the Palestinians, especially what's happening in Rafah now. They'll be there. They're already there, in fact, but now the situation is getting drastic and dire. So I'll give to Qatar charity. Give to the states. Give it to them. They might be eating it as well. But I feel more safe for giving it to them because they've got that diplomacy. They could go through the UN, the Egyptian Red Cross and the Palestinian Red Cross, and they could get your stuff in. You don't need to rely on these. Like I said, these charities are a pin in a haystack. If you a drop in the ocean, like I said before, they truly are. They truly are. You could check Power BI. I've got the UN data. If you look at it, these IGNOs and like Save the Children, they're the ones that are really pushing it, as well as the states who are getting aid in. Very little, by the way. If you filter, if anyone uses Power BI or whatever management data, you can see what they've disclosed. As you can see on screen, have a read of this, and I'll let you be the judge. The Emerging Markets Director, Hamid Al-Asli, is the son-in-law of Mr. Muhammad Yusuf, a member of the Board of Trustees. Mr. Al-Asli was paid $71,400 to 2021, $66,000 for his employment in his role, including employer pension contributions. So let me ask, right? Coming back to me now. Hold on here. This is some sort of nepotism, like family favors. Like the son-in-law gets the job. Like, did he go through the formal process? Did he apply for it? Was he sifted? Did he have an interview? It's convenient, isn't it? The son-in-law gets a job, and he was paid £71,000. Is this from zakat money? Like, yeah, obviously you're making 36,000 plus from water wells, so you're able to pay your employees healthy. But it's a son-in-law, like, and it's clear nepotism here. Like, like, what's going on? They were using this as well when tissues are getting destroyed. So let's carry on. Mr. Al-Asli has a staff loan of $5,500. We don't know how much he took. It says outstanding. So I'd like to ask Human Appeal, is this available for all staff members? Right? How much? 5,500 does he say? Yeah. So what's the terms? Is there any interest involved? He's on 70 bags a year. He's got 5,500 left. How much is the repayment plan? There's clear nepotism involved. It's a son-in-law, gets the job as a director. What director is he again? The Emerging Markets Director, right, is the son-in-law, Mr. Muhammad Yusuf, a member of the Board of Trustees. Convenient, right? Convenient. So what was the repayment plan? Every staff member entitled to this loan, right, with 5,500 outstanding. So how much was the loan he took? What was the conditions? What was the plan, right? How many staff members also get similar loans similar to this? If any human appeal staff members want to come forward, are you entitled to some sort of loan? And what's the terms and conditions? How does it work? Because if Mr. Al-Asli gets it, the son-in-law, why can't you get it? Right? This is how these charities operate, right? This is how they operate. It's very shady, and ultimately, I don't trust them. Mr. Asli is paid in line with the remuneration policy applied to all staff, and the loan arranged is being repaid on the same terms as all other staff loans. Okay, so all other staff loans. The CEO of Human Appeal, Dr. Muhammad Al-Ashmawi, was also the CEO of affiliate organization Human Appeal USA in the year, etc., etc. Now, look at this. It mentions that by the end of the year 2017, issues around Human Appeal's financial governance was reported through the charity's whistleblowing policy, and the Charity Commission launched a statutory inquiry on the 18th of April 2018. The charity has been through a period of transition, and there has been a number of key personnel changes. A new chief executive was recruited in April 2019, and necessary changes were made in the structure and operations of key areas of finance programs. Okay, so what changes did you make? It doesn't say. The changes in the finance terms, structure and operations caused considerable disruption to the financial record keeping of the charity during 2018, etc., etc. You can read it. It's all there. Now, what was the issue? What were the changes that were made? Look, when we talk about being above board, like the Charity Commission investigating, we're going to go into that. We're talking from the angle of shara. You're above board when it comes to the Charity Commission, because that's, you got your accountants, you know what you're doing, right? You pay them huge amounts of money, so I'm sure they'll look after you. But what was the issues? Okay, so as you can see on screen, we've got the Charity Commission, and I don't want to go into the whole report at the end of the day. I'll just summarize it because it's going to get too lengthy then, and I can't be bothered to read all of it. So, the inquiry saw evidence that in 2016, the UAE donor provided significant donation of 1.95 million for the charity's Syria flower program. The inquiry found that the UAE donor provided either funds to the charity or paid cash directly to the provider of flower to the charity's Syria flower program. And it's all there. I'll take a few screenshots. I'll put the link in the description. They investigated. There was some financial mismanagement. Something happened where they didn't report it, and it was something drastic. But yeah, we'll leave you to that. So yeah, a bit shady, right? This video was sent to me by a brother, and I don't know who he is, but he's some sort of fundraising manager, and it's just snobby, and he's taking your zakat money. In essence, he's taking your zakat money. He's trying to justify it, but it just shows they would always have scholars that would give them legitimacy. You find a fatwa for anything nowadays. Like Mufti Faraz Adam when he was working for the National Zakat Foundation, as you can see on screen. You can click the card. I'll go into it as they just twist the text and astaghfirullah al-azim. Now, listen to him and look at the sort of snobbiness and his cheek.
Before people say, how much do you earn?
Yeah.
They have this mindset that the charity worker or whoever works in this field shouldn't earn any money.
Yeah.
Or, I noticed you drive a nice car, you live in a nice house.
Yeah.
So there's a number of things. Number one is a portion of zakat that we give, 1/8 of it is relevant to the person that's distributing it. This is from Allah.
Yeah.
So don't question this. This is why charity is so fundamental to us as Muslims. So don't question the person who's taking a portion. Of course, make sure that it's relevant to what he or she and the contribution they're making.
So fundamental to you because you're using that and twisting it and taking zakat money. That's why it's fundamental. Don't question it. Yeah, don't question you. Let's see what the ulama have said about this. وَالْعَامِلِينَ عَلَيْهَا. Okay? Because this is what you use. This is what charities use. That's why you see every week you're seeing a new charity on top of the gift aid, which is appealing, right? I think I should open my own charity, call it Islamic Transparency. And we got Al-Istithar, okay, by Ibn Abdul Barr al-Maliki. So, قال Malik, Imam Malik, Imam Dar al-Hijrah, when he talks about وَالْعَامِلِينَ عَلَيْهَا, okay, he says, وَلَيْسَ لِلْعَامِلِ عَلَى الصَّدَقَاتِ فَرِيدَةٌ مُسَمَّةٌ. Right? That the amil, this sadaqat, as you explained beautifully, is referring to what? As zakat. As zakat. And the amil has no share for the faridatun or the fard zakat, because sadaqat is not fard, as we just explained. So what is he referring to, Shaykhuna?
Zakat.
Zakat. Then what did he say with the arrows over? Illa ala qadri ma yara al-imam. Okay, that's number one. So, ma yara al-imam. He has no share in the sadaqat فريضة. He doesn't have any share. إلا ما إلا على قدر ما يرى الإمام. Except what the Imam sees. He decides.
قال والعاملين عليها والعاملون عليهم السعاة بشرط أن يكونوا نوابا عن بيت مال المسلمين. وأما الذين يأخذون الزكاة ويفرقونها ولم يكونوا نوابا عن بيت مال المسلمين فليسوا عمالا وإنما هم وكلاء فلا يجوز لهم أن يأخذوا من الزكاة شيئا. بعض الناس يكون محسن يقول عندي فقراء أعطني المال، أنت لست عامل، أنت وكيل، وبناء عليه لا يجوز لك أن تأخذ من الزكاة شيئا. فرق بين العامل والوكيل، وبعض الناس قد يتوسع ويظن أن الوكيل هو العامل وليس كذلك.
So as you can see on screen, we got the book بدائع الصناعي, okay, and this is written by علاء الدين الكاساني. As you can see on screen, this is page 44, okay, and this is volume 2, okay, volume 2. Imam al-Kasani mentions, now we're talking about the Imam, he says, وَأَمَّا الْعَامِلُونَ عَلَيْهَا, okay, this is what Imam Kasani says in page 44, فَهُمَ الَّذِينَ نَسَبَهُمَ الْإِمَامُ لِجِبَايَةِ الصَّدَقَاتِ. Okay, I'll repeat that back. وَأَمَّا الْعَامِلُونَ عَلَيْهَا فَهُمَ الَّذِينَ نَسَبَهُمُ الْإِمَامُ لِجَبَايَةِ الصَّدَقَاتِ. Now, coming back to me. Hafiz Usama, what have we just mentioned from Ibn Abdul Barr, Imam Malik, and now Imam al-Kasani? What's the common denominator here?
Al-Imam.
Al-Imam.
No.
Now, if I argue Al-Imam's the CEO of the company, why not? Why not?
Because the Imam of the Muslims extends far beyond company. The Imam is somebody who has, mashallah, a very, very lofty status for the Muslims, where the Muslim, simply put, the entire Muslim Ummah must give this person bay'ah.
Imam al-Kasani continues, says, وَاخْتَلَفَ فِيمَا يُعْطُونَ قال أصحابنا من الأحناف يعطيهم الإمام what يعطيهم الإمام كفايتهم. Okay, so the Imam gives them what is sufficient, right? Who gives it?
Imam.
The CEO, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
CEO. Be careful. الكفاية منها. وقال الشافعي يعطيهم الثمن. Now, Imam Shafi'i said they'll be given a contribution, right? A contribution. Now, what did Imam Malik say? Or Imam Ibn Bar? بِقَدْرِ أَعْمَالَتِهِ. What he's worked for. So, it's not simple as
his employment.
أَعْمَالَتِهِ. Now, imagine, this is what you hear from some of these charity members. They say, this is the argument that we've heard. وَجْهُ قَوْلِهِ أن الله تعالى قسم الصدقات على الأصناف الثمانية. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has split the zakat, the zakat here is of sadaqat, to 8 groups of people. منهم العاملون عليها, from amongst them is the عاملون عليها, that work or collect it. فكان لهم منها الثمن. So from amongst them, they get a share. True? They get a share. Now, we have not denied, right, that وَالْعَامِلُونَ عَلَيْهَا, they don't get a share. But the problem here we have with these charities is that you find 150 charities now. So all of these charities could say, وَالْعَامِلُونَ عَلَيْهَا, وَالْعَامِلُونَ عَلَيْهَا, we're going to take a cut from it, lads, and we've got a right to. We can take a thumb from it. So what's your problem? Now that's very problematic. And that's why I noticed in the trend of many charities opening up shop like every so often, because go into much more detail. You could click the video that I recorded with Hafiz Osama. It's all there, and Mufti Faraz Adam have already put the it's all there. These guys twist it, take it out of context, trying to fit it into the capitalistic Western model, secular model, and then they take a cut from it. Oh, you got a nice car. It's just up his own backside, to be honest. So you probably do drive nice cars because you're taking you're making £450 a wow from one company. Imagine what else you're making. That's why you're able to pay your CEOs, because you have 40-50 million. Give your CEOs 80-90 bags a year. No, you're loving it. You're loving it in the name of charity, by the way. But that individual, just go onto his Facebook, taking photos of his sister, we show, when you talk about this is from Allah, just to make you aware, hijab is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. It's fard. Just to get that out there, my brother. Just, people have showed me your Facebook, that's what I'm going to say. Our brothers and sisters are facing a genocide for the last 7-8 months. 30,000-40,000 dead. In the name of comedy, the biggest Muslim comedy takeover show in the aid of our Gaza emergency appeal, sold out. Is this a time that we should be laughing and paying comedians to make jokes, and then you're raising money for Gaza and people are ha ha ha? This ain't the time. This is aib. This is insensitive, distasteful. Our brothers and sisters are dying and you're raising money in the name of comedy. People are laughing to make them laugh to raise money for Gaza. Like I said, Palestine's an industry. Like one had Muslim games nights or Gaza game night. It's an industry. They're making money. They're profiting. It's a joke. Should be ashamed of yourselves. Muslim comedy show sold out. And you've got comedians. This is a time for comedy? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. People make some good money, let me tell you. That's what do all these charities. SubhanAllah Azim. Save humanity. So take care of yourselves. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad.
ليس الغريب غريب الشام واليمن إن الغريب غريب اللحد والكفن إن الغريب له حق لغربته على المقيمين في الأوطان والسكن سفر بعيد وزاد لن يبلغني وقوتي ضعفت والموت يطلبني ما أحلم الله عني حيث أمهلني وقد تماديت في ذنبي ويسترني تمر ساعة